We're live.
We're live. It's been a month. I'm looking at another device, as always, to see if we're doing our thing. Welcome to Hashtag No Filters.
Hello, everyone. Nice to be back.
Cheryl. Yeah, it's great, actually. It's been a month, and yeah, I miss doing this, actually.
Yeah, me too. It always is fun, isn't it?
Yeah,
Do you want to do
and a contribution.
Everybody knows. Everybody knows now, by now, right? Do we need to do
Yeah,
it?
we're just gonna share where we're at, and you know, on so many different levels. So we started having a bit of a chat before we came on. We kind of thought maybe just chat. We've been exploring. Well, Sabina's been having an amazing time the last couple of weeks. So maybe there's some cool stuff in there to share that might inspire. Go with it, girl.
Yeah, I am gonna go for it. Like, you know what? It's been absolutely epic journey. I went on a road trip with my dear friend Eva, and we had an absolute giggle and laugh and adventures, which is literally we had no plan. Like sort of like points where we do want to visit, but like we are like in between. It was just like nothing, you know. It's like let's just go with the flow, and it was so refreshing. Usually, I'm a control freak, basically. I know. Does it come as a surprise?
Yes.
Total control freak. So like when you always go on holiday, like it needs to be like everything needs to be planned to the last thing, everywhere where I'm staying and stuff like that. So this was like a new thing for me, and it just felt amazing. Just literally going with the flow, not even having anything booked or anything. Had a tent in my in the booth. We took all the little road, you know, the tiny little roads, and
oh my gosh.
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. It always worked out as well. Like literally everything that happened. And it was about the attitude as well. Like, yeah, it was raining at some points, but we went for a walk anyway. Had a right giggle about it, you know. We came back soaked, like, you know, I wriggled out my socks and they're like dripping water from it, you know. It was squelching while I was walking. It was so much fun though.
But isn't it interesting because little kids, like I watch them out in the rain. They'll have the little sou'westers, the little rain macs on, and they have the waves, and they jump up and down the puddle, or they fall over and roll around in a puddle. They have no concept like, oh, I'm too wet. Oh, and it's like, what happens?
I know.
That sense of fun and joy and enthusiasm suddenly goes, oh no, I don't want to get damp. I'm an adult now.
I know, like what happens, right?
So upper arm and arms so tight.
We're totally like little kids. It was amazing. Seriously. Oh, I haven't laughed so much like in a whole year as much as I laughed on this trip. And I just wanted to say how important that is to really take that time. And you know what? I have been off in between, like, you know, they're there and they're there, but it's not the same because you're still in your environment.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking, like, if you're working hard, take the time, go away, change the scenery, change the energy, you know, like completely take yourself away from what you're doing. And yeah, it's just like really refreshing. Now I'm back and like, you know, I was getting really tired and stressed from like things and routine and like things I have to do. And now I feel like, okay, you know what? I'm back now. I have more energy. I'm feeling the love again. I'm like, you know, I'm laughing all the time, and I feel like I can do a better job because I'm relaxed and yeah, and I'm more creative as well because I had a break. It's that simple.
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of things in it though, right? I mean, it was really funny because when you said you were going on it, I was like, I had road trip envy. I was like, I want to go on a road trip. And then there was all that sense of excitement and adventure of like, oh, just being random. And then in came the, ooh. But like you, I used to love planning. I used to love having a massive plan, but I'd be flexible within it. But I had lots of like things I could like click into, places to stay and whatever. Yeah. And so when you said about it, I was like, I had this kind of pull, this massive desire for adventure. And then this, well, will that fit in with my ABC, you know, whatever. Like, we kind of want this sense of adventure, but how much we need to let go.
Exactly.
And maybe we don't know until we jump in. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's jumping in, and then we get to see what we're willing to be and do.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, of like, and things go wrong, you know, all the time as well.
Hi, Peter.
We stop out.
Yeah.
Hi. So yeah, things pop up. But if you just take it like, okay, it's part of an adventure. Like, let's deal with it. Let's see where that takes us, you know. And it steers you another way and another way, and it's like it just felt like everything is as it should be.
Yeah. Well, again, it's
It was,
like kids, you know, they don't have a I watch at the moment, right, okay, guys. So I'm kind of going through this like massive caterpillar soup change, which I spoke about, and so the way I see the world is different. And then it's just
mm,
like I'm all like this. So, for example, I've never really had an interest in having kids. I think they're amazing, but not really. And now I'm starting to look at kids and go, "Oh my God, they're so cute!" Like there's a pool. I'm like, "Oh my God!"
can I just
But
say something about that? Can I just say something? So
yeah,
Cheryl has been
yeah,
sending me little videos, right? And she's like, you know, it's just explaining to me like, oh, I see these moms with the kitties and stuff. So look like I'm like, oh my God, who are you and what have you done with my friend?
So you think
It was literally like
so
that.
a junt. You think you know what you want in life? Who wants it? Because it
Yeah,
can really change depending how you're seeing the world and
yeah.
what's going on. It's a little weird. But the thing is, what I've noticed is that I watched them, and there's a set of twins and an older brother. So the three of them all kind of run underneath my property. I've got a little archway, and they're all over the place, literally. You know, one runs that way, the other one runs that way, one stops and goes up, like herding kittens. The mum's really cool with it, incredibly skilled. I mean, the twins are probably 3, and the other one's probably 4 to 5 maximum. You know, 2 to 3. And it's like that willingness just to go. There is a general direction they're going in, which is towards home, but it's kind of like
Taking a detour, right?
they
It's not a
fixed
straight path.
agenda. Yeah, they kind of trust they're being led, which is almost like you set up on a road trip, you trust you're being led, you've got a sat nav and
Yeah.
things. But how you go about it,
Hmm.
you might turn around, go backwards, you might stop. And so, how
Yeah,
much
yeah.
can we bring that into our daily lives? Because kids do it and they trust. I'm not saying it all
Mm,
turns out brilliantly, but that generally kind of turns out okay. So,
mm.
where can we
It
bring
brings
that into
that
our lives more?
flexibility, right? That flexibility and fluidity of life, because life is like that. It gives you little bumps and like detours and stuff like that. And if you're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Let's see where that takes us, you know? Not like, oh my
Having the
God, why
fun
did
with
this
it.
happen to me? You know, like
Yeah,
Bertie,
make it mean something.
yeah, Bertie broke down, you know, my
Bertie's her car, by the
beloved,
way. Car,
my
so you know who Bertie.
beloved. I got a new one. His name is Francis.
Oh my God. So I've not met Francis yet. How is Francis? Welcome to the
I
family,
have,
Francis.
thank you, thank you. I'm picking him tomorrow. So,
Oh, he's not here
yeah.
yet. Oh, with
Not
you.
not just
What?
yet. Not just yet. Yeah. It's
Ah,
Francis. Yeah. But yeah,
okay.
Bertie broke down, you know, and I love that car so much. It wasn't all that new, let's say, and it was had few you know, scratches, bruises, corrosion.
It danced with life a few times,
It's
right?
seen a law. It's seen a law. Yeah. So again, like, you know, it was inevitable eventually. And yeah, what happened? Like, you know, Bertie broke down. We were just going. The clutch, I stepped on a clutch. It stayed down. I'm like, oh shit. Steered it to the sideways, and we were like, okay, let's just deal with it. You know, book the hotel and then um in the place. We stayed in Worcester, by the way. It's like, what happens in Worcester? Apparently, everything happens in Worcester.
Mm.
We wandered in. We found like a restaurant which we wanted to go to that was closed. We just saw a pub across the road, dodgy pub as fuck. Went over there, met the loveliest people, had the best laugh ever.
You see?
It was just like it was meant to be. Seriously, it was so funny. And it's like with everything, everything is bad. It's for something good, right? Like, you know, it was part of the adventure. It's part of life.
Yeah. And again, if we don't give it the meaning, I mean, I think almost, who knows, might have been the same day. I had my first modelling shoot in like 6 months, and it happened to be shooting up in the Wirral, so just across the water, Wirral Peninsula, right next to Liverpool, part of Liverpool, basically. And got going. very close train connections, like nearly missed it, that kind of thing from London. And then we got kind of like halfway up the country and it went, oh no, signal, stop. There's been an incident. We sat there. And the train's like, sorry, we have to go back. So we kind of like reversed that down the track. Basically, a 4 hour journey became a 6 hour journey. But it was the coolest adventure. And then when I got to Liverpool, it's lashing the maddest storm. But in walking from the station, I found this vegan restaurant I'd wanted to spot. Managed to take the guy who's going to be my hubby on the shoot to it, who's not a vegan, but he was like, I was like, she's my charm. Let's just go this way. I said, there's a vegan place. I really just want to walk past it, see what else there is. And he's like, is this it? It's open. Oh, it's the eatery. I thought it was a takeaway. Should we go? He says, let's go look. Step by step by step. And then we got the eat out to help out deal. And it was like, fabulous. Got a lift to the shoot. Got a great taxi ride. I mean, it all just worked out. But it not necessarily how it was planned.
Doesn't it? Yeah, exactly. But it worked out at the end.
Yeah.
So invitation, go with the flow, right? See how much you can go with the flow and don't be put down by whatever life throws at you. Yeah.
Yeah, we can have a kind of direction, right? So you had an idea of the road trip. I was going to do a particular piece of work. So we were heading in a direction, but the way we got there was not necessarily what we had planned. Yeah.
So I wanted to actually ask you about your caterpillar soup.
Oh my God.
I've spoken to Cheryl for a very, very long time, so I'm quite curious. How is it unfurling?
Uncomfortable, messy as fuck. That's basically what comes to mind. Yeah. I have this, in a day, I'm going through such a range of emotions. Now, I've got a ton of tools and I could totally change how I'm perceiving things and experiencing things. And I do make some small adjustments. But actually, because I'm kind of opening up in terms of this, being willing to express how I feel or and to ask for help and to receive support and to be gifted and contributed to, I'm choosing not to use tools because that's a whole new area for me. Being vulnerable, what people call vulnerable, but just allowing others into my world. That's not been my thing. I've done it to varying degrees and I have opened up over the years, but this is like the next. And so basically being in that space and allowing
Can I just ask you something?
Yeah.
Can I just ask you something? Why did you choose not to use tools? Don't you think that it would help with the transition?
Because to me, I'd be using a tool to fix it, to get out of the uncomfortableness.
Oh, okay.
And if I've been somebody that hasn't necessarily shared how I'm feeling, and because pre this, although that I was opening up, I was still and receiving support, particularly from my partner or from friends, I was still pretty much a lone wolf. And because I was running what we would call the masculine energy, that's very lone wolf. So, I mean, not that I didn't feel things, but nothing bothered me because I was just in charge of doing what I needed to do. So everything was like, I'd have there were things, but I would use tools to create what I wanted to create. But it wasn't this mass swirl of emotion that I'm now experiencing, having kind of letting go of the reins and then kind of dropped more into what we call the feminine, which is a lot more feeling based, a lot more being willing to receive others and being allowing others to take the lead. It's a very different energy. It's a beautiful gift, but it's very different. And so those emotions, that particularly when letting somebody else take charge of things that I would have run before, that can be uncomfortable. Now, I've done it in little things, right, in my life. I have done it in various things, but I've taken a massive step back on a lot of stuff. Not just a little 5% here, I mean, like stuff I'm not doing it at all. So that's a big change. I don't really do things by little bits. I'm a kind of pretty all or nothing type of person.
No, are you?
So I'm like, yeah, hard to believe. So I'm like, fuck it. Burn the bridge. Not quite burn the bridge because I'm not that. But I'm yeah, so basically what I'm aware of is that there's things that it's bringing up where there's gaps in terms of what I'd like to have based on who I am now. No, she's still unwrapping, she's still unfolding, so I'm not making rash decisions by any means. But basically what I've got this expressing and asking people to contribute to me and being willing to share how I feel and then seeing the gap of what I might want. And so I've got basically like two opposing forces, like they're going in two different directions. So I'm constantly feel like
Right.
I'm being pulled, which is uncomfortable. Pushing and trying to achieve something, some people call that uncomfortable. That's not really uncomfortable for me. I mean, there's
Mm.
intensity, as in it's almost a stress in the body because I'm using the masculine energy, and that's for a woman, we can totally use it, but consistently it's stressful. But it's a different thing because it feels like I'm in charge. And it's an energy I've been used to, although I've used it in varying degrees. Particularly, I've chilled it out a lot over the last 20 years, but I still know it. But this
That's
in
the
others, just to
familiar,
me,
isn't it?
still familiar, even though it's
Mm.
softer, it's still familiar. But I've been having this pull for a long time, but not to this degree. But I've had this push to keep driving and this thing about wanting to chill out and relax and receive. So I've had them pulling for the last 20 years, but they're just now
Mm.
like broken apart. And it's really, really, literally, I can go from like really, really feeling really angry and rage towards somebody, um, which is not something I would do. I would like, if I had any kind of stuff, I'd like deal with it and it's done. There's no stuff churning. A bit like a
Yeah,
guy, that
process it.
guy kind of energy. Yeah, process it in,
Yeah,
say what I need to say, bang, done,
done.
or process it. But now I'm letting that stuff come up. I'm not trying to push it anywhere or change it. I can literally go from that intense anger towards somebody because I'm not feeding my need, because I never had a need of them before, right? I was still
Mm.
kind of independent-ish with them. So now I'm now saying to them, hey, I would really like you to contribute this to me, to be this with me, to go with this, for us to have this. Now I'm vulnerable and open to what they will or won't do. So suddenly, if they're not delivering that, and which is they're totally entitled to, but that's really, really challenging for me right now because I'm like, well, you're not delivering. Either I want to take back the range, which I don't want to do actually. I don't want to go back to that, or I want to go. And so I've got a lot of that energy in my space right now. And then there's moments where I'm just
Yeah.
totally with them and enjoying that. So it's really pulling me.
Mm.
Uh, it's really intense.
That does sound a little bit intense.
Yeah, yeah.
But isn't it funny? Isn't it like, most people like think that like receiving and being in that space is like super easy, isn't it? But like that's actually the most difficult part of it. And stepping back and letting somebody take the lead when you're so used to all your life being in charge.
And also, um, you know what? I'm the kind of person that I will step back if I know that person's totally got it. That I've always been able to do. So I remember, for example, learning to ski. I learned to ski when I was 35, 36, 36, just after my 30th birthday. And the instructor I had, she was so damn good. I like totally trusted her. If she said we could take this line, I could take the line. And I kicked it. I was like A+ student because she knew her stuff. I knew she had my back and I was willing to go to the edge.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Conversely, a couple of years after that, going back to ski school, I jumped a couple of groups. The instructor was basically a drunk,
Oh my
an alcoholic, who didn't really teach us. And I jumped too high. And so he would just say, go do it. And I had no tuition how to take these slopes, which were more aggressive. And it really knocked my confidence because
God.
I was like, you don't have my back. And I had to get myself out of that space, over the next few years of skiing to kind of like, so I would totally let somebody take the lead if they know their shit.
Yeah.
But then that's the thing about feeling like I'm being vulnerable. So now I'm allowing myself to be vulnerable, particularly with somebody that's in my life that I'm close to, and their style is different to mine. So it's
Mm-hmm.
really challenging me to like.
So basically,
And
like,
so yeah,
it's like
and I'm
when you see
expressing
that,
what I
like, okay,
require. Go on, darling.
no, I know, like, I have a little bit of that going on as well. Having to like, give up the control and letting people do it. And like even when they start doing it, I'm like, oh my God, they're doing it wrong, like, can I just step in? I'll just go. I'm just gonna do it myself. Is that a little bit, isn't it?
Mine's a bit different. This is different for me, but I hear what you're saying
Yeah.
about that. Yeah, I totally get that. Now this is
Mm.
different because mine's it's not about them doing it or not. I mean, I can feel that they do things different to me. I've been around people a lot with that. That's not really my thing. I
Mm.
think it's just actually it's my emotions are so much more raw, or I have access to them, or in a way. Or I said this to Sabine the other day. I said there are moments I'm feeling cray cray. Like I've been predominantly a guy in a female body with female elements. So it's a different thing. I'm now being a woman in a woman's body, and I haven't driven this body as a woman really since I was a little girl. If I don't remember as a little girl being a woman. So I'm nearly 40, well, 49 now. I'm like, oh my God, who the hell am I? Like my emotions are different, my hormones are different. You know, looking at kids are going, oh, looking at mums picnicking with the little ones going, oh, I want to join in. That was never in my world. Ever.
I
So that
know.
my body's like the estrogen, which is obviously our main hormone for women, particularly for nurturing, connection. There are others, obviously, oxytocin. But in terms of procreation, it's like it's up in my warm world because I'm not doing the drive push thing, which is testosterone. So that kind of nurturing, connecting, receiving is an estrogen thing. So literally my hormonal levels have changed, and I can tell my body feels different. And so my body's reacting, my mind is reacting differently to situations. It's like, who the fuck is this person?
Yeah.
I'm having to learn to date, to be in relationship, in friendship, in a totally different way. And it's like,
It's like riding a new car, right? You need to get used to it before, like, become one.
It's not even it's not even like riding a new car. It's like learning to fly a plane. I've never flown a plane. It's something completely different. And so literally, I've been watching videos on YouTube around, like, for example, dating and the male female thing. And I'm like, oh my God, because I've predominantly dated more from the masculine side. That's kind of the role I've had mostly in most of my relationships in terms of how I've gone about it. And so I could totally think like a man. I'm like, and I was like, oh,
can you give us an example? Come on, it's funny.
In my dating, okay. Yes, I would organize things. It's just a matter, for example, I would organize going out for dinner or going on a trip. I mean, to be fair, my current partner, he's a really nice blend of masculine and feminine. So he's quite strong in his masculine. So with being with him, I definitely softened more into my feminine relationship with him, let him organizing things. But I tell you, the biggest thing is I'm feeling like I need, and it's a really strong word, so need, like needing him to show appreciation, to be more affectionate, for him to give me more attention, all the things that I never required when I was in my masculine. I was just on my mission, do my thing. And we're tactile, we're very tactile things, but I'm like, my babes, kiss, hug, always wave goodbye, always the case, whatever. I was like, off my mission, gone. And now I'm like, I need a stroke, like every 2 minutes kind of thing. That's what's in my head. I'm like, I'm needing that sensual thing so much more. My body is physically wanting that so much more. And that's really tough because I'm feeling like I'm turning into a needy girlfriend, and I'm battling with that internally. And I have expressed things to him as well. So it's not like I'm definitely opening up and share. But
nobody wants to be needy, right? I always battle with that as well.
But there's a difference between needy, so there's this whole thing about balancing stuff within our own world, being with partners or with friends or with colleagues, with business relationships, all sorts of relationships, being where they're nurturing all round. So there are many things going on here, because there's making sure we're fulfilled in ourselves. There's having that ability to express what we require, and somebody who really wants to contribute to us. So there are different components. So obviously I'm balancing in a different way. So I'm out of kilter. My partner's going to have his thing going on. There's things going on in my work. There's things going on in the world. Our sense of connection is different. Yes, there's a lot of stuff all coming up at the same time.
Yeah.
It's everyday lightness.
Great. Well,
but it's fun. It's a lot of fun
it's agreeing with you. Yes. You look radiant as ever, so definitely working, even though it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, even though I feel like I've got a raging storm in me in all different directions.
Yeah.
But I feel a lot more like, literally, we talked about this as well, about the feminine, really like too much information. I used to have like a little hair that would grow out of my little jawline here. as I've got more and more of my feminine, because typically most women, because they run in so much stress, they're trying to not control, but they're in charge so much. The home, the kids, the job, the partner, they're running the whole fucking world. So they're in the masculine, and testosterone, the estrogen starts to drop. So unsurprisingly, women tend to get more whiskers, right, as they get older. They tend to get,
Yeah, I've got
right?
one here.
It's really
I play the
common.
shit out of it, like seriously. But
Yeah, they go
it's
grey, they get
annoying.
drier, in the vagina, all sorts of things. Mine's reversing the other way.
Mm,
My body's getting lubricated with estrogen, so literally, like, my hair growth is slowing down, it's become more sparse. These little things
mm,
completely disappeared. It's like, oh my
mm.
God, the hormones really make a massive difference.
Yeah.
I mean, we hear
Gosh,
about it, but I'm not taking anything for it. It's just literally the way I'm being in the world is changing my hormones.
yeah. That
That's
we
cool
talked
stuff.
about that a little bit as well. If you can maybe share, like, how be to get into that more feminine, how to balance your hormone naturally without
Yes.
actually having to take hormone replacement therapy and all that
Yeah.
jazz.
Yeah, which has a really interesting impact on the body, because anything we put in
Yeah.
the body that is alien to it effectively. And by the way, I don't know about the UK, but in the US, the estrogen they are giving in hormone replacement therapy, and I'm not a doctor, so I'm just quoting from somebody that quoted this as a doctor. The source of it in the US, at least, uh, is comes from pregnant mares, horses.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That is
Not to
so
say it's
weird.
all HRT is, but that
Yeah.
was definitely one source because he was talking about that.
Mm,
I don't know about you, but my body's not a horse. You're not a horse.
yeah.
So the estrogen isn't a match. But guess what? My body,
Yeah.
various gland, pituitary, we're not going to get into it too much, can create all of that. But if we're in our
Mm,
stress of trying to control and manage everything, which I get lots of women
mm,
do, maybe single parents, or they might just be bringing the money or whatever. But there are things we can start to do to bring the balance. So
yeah.
I started doing little things. So literally, I used to love running the house. It was like a project for me. Particularly, it was a new build as well, so there was some project management to be done when we moved in. About 9 months of getting repairs done and things, what they call snagging. I loved all that because I'm really good at detail. I'm really good at getting shit done. And then I kind of started to feel like, you know what, I don't want to be running the house anymore. Is in, even cleaning it. And I love a really clean home. So I've started to step back. So I've started to get my partner to do things. It's not that he wouldn't do them, but I just did it because I was like, I'm the one that's good at that. Um, Tiny things. Now I ask him to put the washing out when the washing machine finished. I ask him to fold up the washing from the errors. Um, he always irons his own stuff anyway, but he ironed some mine the other day. He often cooks, but I've just started to ask him, I don't know, I think what else I've got him to do. Yeah, I mean, taking out the rubbish is a silly thing we've talked about before, but getting to do that. Things are basically, I was like, all these little extra things I would be doing beyond the main clean, and I've cut back how much I clean as well. I'm like, it's still really clean, but I'm just cutting out my time I'm doing it. I'm just, certain things get left, and I don't get like the thorough scrub every time. Every time I had to clean the house. When we first moved in, every day, we still had builder's dust.
Wow.
Yeah, it was mad. And then it became every couple of days. And now, it's still every couple of days. I can do like a Hoover in 20 minutes, and then I'll do one big deep one once a week, which works for me. I have a completely white space. I love the feeling. But I've cut my cleaning down probably 2 or 3 hours.
Mm.
I started with, online shopping, little things that just start to make an ease. And I'll just ask him to go do the shop, for example, or
Mm.
now obviously that's with a
So,
partner.
so it's more asking for things as well and asking for help, right, when you need it,
Asking,
so you can step back a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah. And originally I kind of started saying, hey, babes, the things I'm doing, I don't want to be doing it anymore. It's not fun for me anymore. I'm changing who I am. Can you pick up some of those things? Here's some of the things I currently do. I'd like you to start looking at doing these. I'd like you to start doing them. He was like, okay. But then he had to be trained. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful.
We've lost Cheryl. Give us a second. Oh, are you back? Yes, you're back. Can you hear
Have
me?
I gone off? Ah, okay. Well, I can see
No,
me
I
on
can
that
see.
screen, but I can't see you, Sabina.
I can see you and I can
Okay.
hear you. I'm gonna remove you and put you back in. That's okay. Oh no. Bear with us, guys. Little technical difficulties. Let's give Cheryl time to come back.
I'm
You back?
back. My God, who
Yay!
knows? I've got no idea. Maybe it was just too intense.
Yeah. All that asking for help, right?
There you are,
Too
out of
intense.
control. Had to be out of control. But yeah, just I had to give him space to start doing things. So, for example, our kitchen is white. Everything is white. I kid you not. White top,
It
yes,
is
white worktop,
pristine.
kitchen, everything is white. And no, when I first started asking him to wipe down on surfaces, he used to miss bits. And with white, you leave a bit of tomato or something there, it will stain. So I would go around after it, and he was like, "What are you doing now?" And I'd be like, "Babes, you've missed a bit. I know I'm more into detail, my eyesight's better. So I'm just going to go around. But if you can just do this and go over it 2 or 3 times, you'll get it." So, and now he's fucking like the dogs at it. And so
Yeah.
yeah, it's just if I'd not asked, if I'd continued to always do it,
Mm.
and sometimes I still do the bit that he doesn't see, like if he's left something in the sink and I can see it's marked, I will put some bleach in there or whatever it is, just do it and not say
Mm.
anything. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
But him wiping down the whole kitchen every night, well, if it's 5-10 minutes, that's an hour of my week back.
Yeah. Oh wow, I never thought about it like that
Yeah,
actually.
him taking the bins
Yeah.
out, another five. It's like 40 minutes of my week back. Him doing
Yeah.
some of my ironing.
It's
We used to
not
do our own ironing. It's another, so something 2 hours, 3 hours, a couple of hours less, cleaning, 5 hours back.
yeah. It's
It's
good
a
stuff.
lot of time.
I wish I could spread my workload with somebody as well.
But it's also knowing
Yeah.
what's really key, though, isn't it? Like let's talk work
Yeah.
then. What we think is key and what really is key. So
Yeah.
tell me about work where you think you need to spread or wish you could spread some of that.
Oh no, it's just like daily maintenance and stuff like that on top of work and everything. And when you're on your own, of course, it makes it a little bit more difficult because I do need to provide for myself, and then you don't have the partner that you can split bills. It is easier when you have a partner.
Absolutely,
It
absolutely.
really is
Financially,
easier if
yes.
you have a partner,
Yeah, yeah,
financial and with everything, sharing
yeah,
workload, sharing looking after your home and everything.
yeah.
So yeah, I need to really like actually prioritize and yeah, see what actually is necessary doing and what can wait.
Precisely, precisely.
Like if
So
I'm
even with
getting yeah,
go, girl, go, go.
yeah,
If you're getting what?
if I'm getting tired and run down and there's still like, things need to be done, do they really necessarily need to be done? Or
Yeah,
is my chill out time more important? You
yeah.
know?
If you think about it, there's obviously doing your classes in delivering as a teacher. So doing your classes and letting people know what classes are coming up. That's not to say there could be somebody that does all the admin, because that
Mm,
could be well worth that emotional space, that mental space could allow you to actually even create even bigger classes,
mm,
even if you had to pay somebody or all that posting. There's different things like really what's really key and where can
yeah.
we start to bring other people in. And I mean, I had this vision, this thought earlier. And I'm sure there's a lot of women that it could be single parents or in a relationship that isn't working for them. If women got together and started to live in community like they used to, 3 or 4 women got together and hired and bought or rented a house, because there are some places where women are starting to buy properties together,
Oh, really?
because on their own it's expensive, right? It can be a lot for one
Yes.
woman unless she's a very high earner. You
Mm,
get 3 or 4 women together buying a 4-bedroom house, it suddenly becomes a
mm,
lot more doable, or renting a 4-bedroom place.
Yeah.
or three-bedroom place. Something, if one woman's paying £1,000 for a one-bed flat, which probably isn't a lot, it's not a very lot anymore, not in London or South East. That's a bit out of town. But if somebody's spending £1,000, well, three of you get together, you can get something shit nice for 2.5 grand, right? And
Yeah.
so suddenly you're down to only 700 each,
Yeah.
and you're sharing, and it's just like on the basis that the people that kind of work gel together,
Yeah.
it starts to make a lot more sense.
Like a community kind of thing.
Community,
I hear where
but
you're
it's
getting, yeah. But
yeah.
you need
I'm
to
just
really
giving
find
examples.
out. Yeah. You really need to find people who you really gel with, because I have shared before,
Yeah,
and it is difficult if you
yeah,
don't have the
totally
same
can be.
values.
Precisely. So it's like being in a relationship, though. I mean, it is a relationship. We're living together, but then
Yeah.
people go and live with somebody, and it's messy, and they're like intimate
Yeah.
partner. Well, I don't know. I think maybe renting with girlfriends or friends would be easier, actually. um, I'm just giving different examples. I mean,
Yeah,
it could
yeah,
be
yeah.
business, getting people involved in business, seeing which clients are making the most money. Really, which ones are really like. I'm doing a little bit of coaching these days, and it's great, and I'm loving it. The women I'm working with or co-creating with, I like to say, are the most
Yeah.
wonderful women. I wish their careers are expanding, their way of living, the way they see themselves, a sense of ease and peace, and it's just beautiful. And they're having to contribute to me financially, which obviously contributes to my life. It's the most amazing thing, the most beautiful
That's
thing.
really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I wasn't
I'm
looking
actually,
to start coaching again.
yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have a vision of I always wanted a well-being place, and I always had a vision to do it with few people, not on my own,
Yeah, totally.
because I have some qualities which I contribute, but I don't know everything around business. And for example, the
Absolutely.
business part and financial part, I know nothing about that. So to
Yeah.
put a few people together, just like a community
It
that
does
will
create so much more
actually
ease.
so much more ease, So I have
Yeah.
some gifts, somebody else will have those gifts which I don't have, so we'd complement each other and
Yeah.
create something really cool.
Absolutely. I'm just
It
gonna say hi to
again.
my cousin Louise. My cousin's is watching us.
Hi,
Hey, girl.
Louise.
Thanks for joining. Yeah, it totally does. That thing about working with others, which when we're in our masculine energies, go back full circle. Lone wolf. It's all about because the male energy is about basically single focused. To have a sense of self, they have to be single focused and just do what they need to do to achieve. It's like literally the primal instinct. The hunter goes out, has to face the animal, kill it, bring it home.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean there can't be a bit of a pack like a wolf, but generally there's still an alpha, right? The one that leads. So, so many women have got into that space of just doing it all on their own. But the beautiful things when we truly can be in co-creation with others, it's stunning.
How
It
much
really
magic
is.
can you create, right?
Yeah, and it's just so much easier on the body as well. So much more joy. I've been a lot in community the last year with a book club, and there's generally three of us on a call, even though there are lots of women in the group. It's the most incredible thing. I turn up every 2 weeks. We have a 2-hour call. We work on exercise in between. I wouldn't miss it for anything. There's literally things I've said no to, so I can make sure I'm at the book club.
Yeah.
Because the power of the community is that. And I was not one of those type of people. It wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
Many years ago, I was not remotely interested in that. Because I had to prove I could do everything on my own, which was my masculine,
Yeah.
not my nurturing feminine side. And we have both. It's not about one or the other.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
a female body, the hormones are more by default or about the connection, the co-creation. That's our default gifts. In the male body, it's about go achieve single drive. We can do both, but they're our natural defaults hormonally. So, and biologically, our society pushes it all towards the male. Drive, go, 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 go. It's out of balance for women. I never thought
Yeah.
I'd be saying this. I never even had this awareness, really. But it really is. And
Yeah.
so the journey, I think, is for, if we want to, just for a sense of happiness and nothing else, let alone health, well-being,
Mm.
is finding that what I call healthy female, which means we might go through the cray bit because we're so out of balance, and then we're
Then you
like
can find the ease.
then we've got the ease and we've got the joy, and we're gifted to it all the time, and then we can create
Mm.
great communities, and then we can take a call, so we can go out in the world and we can deliver great cool change, but we're from a really
Mm.
solid base of connectivity, not
Yeah.
me over somebody else, not me solo, can't receive help, which is just called
Mm.
burnout, with so many women.
Yeah.
And then they
Eh,
explode at their friends or their family or their partner because it's all broadened up.
mm. I do definitely have I started listening to those calls as well, which you've been listening to, and I do recognize a lot of those male masculine traits in me, Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely it's
And
out
they're
of balance.
great for survival. For many women, as little girls, we learned that we got rewarded when we just got stuff done, when we hit grades, when we pushed to achieve, when we,
Yeah.
yeah, we took control. We were rewarded for that. Our
But
society is set
too
up for that.
much is
But
just
it's
puts you
not
into unbalance.
what hormonally does totally. And it's
Yeah.
for women, it's not fun. It's not fun in our bodies, and we feel constantly stressed because it is actually a stressful state for a woman to be in, because
Yeah.
in that way, because she hasn't got the nurturing foundation base to then be focused and creating something which is a different
Yeah.
energy. And so this is why women, so many women, just feel like burnt out. They're overwhelmed.
Mm.
They're like wound up tighter than a bloody, yeah. And so they blow, or they have so many health issues, menstrual issues, fertility issues.
Mm.
Big thing for women, and it's growing.
Mm.
And
It is.
more and more women, I mean, they're pushing in their masculine, in that kind of, I need to be in charge. If they happen to be heterosexual, it doesn't matter, even if they're, enjoy same gender relationships. But the other person, to make an attraction, has to go into the feminine. So if a woman's in her strong masculine and she likes heterosexual intimacy, the males she will attract has to go into his feminine, which isn't a natural state for him.
Mm.
So, and then she's like, well, he's too bloody soft. That's like,
Yeah.
he's not taking charge. Well, two men are like two
Because you don't
hands.
let him.
Yeah, two mouths
Yeah.
are like this. So that's not sexual attraction. So he might be soft and connecting and more laid back and more, enjoying more of the flow, sharing how he feels. And you're like, yeah, but that's not really sexy for me because I'm go, go, go. No, that's
Mm.
how it. So unless you start to back up and let him step up into that, where he can literally stand and take the charge. And it doesn't mean you can't say what you want. Of course, it's not about that at all. You basically just charm him and get him to do stuff for you because he wants to, and
Yeah.
he loves it. It's like a puppy dog. They love it to make women happy. I've
Mm.
not seen it anymore. I can see it as I reflect on things and men I've had in my life, and I see it more as I've softened how much men
Hmm.
love to contribute to us, and the more we
It
can
is
just
so true, isn't
let them.
it?
Oh my god,
It
it's
is
so
true. I
beautiful.
can see it. I can see it, but like, you know what? I could take it from my, but I was always like, I don't need anyone,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna ever make anybody like, that I need somebody because I can
yeah,
look after myself. So I am in
yeah,
that very much, no. It's like stubborn, I'm gonna prove you wrong that I can do it by
yeah.
myself.
I know, I know, I know.
It's so hard to receive and be in that, okay, asking for help. But I'm working on it as well. Little baby steps. Little baby
Precisely,
steps.
and that's the thing. It's a little nibble. So when I popped over and saw you a couple of weeks back for your road trip, you were having a class at your
Mm-hmm.
place,
Yes.
and so you share how you
Yeah,
asked
I
for
know.
help. A little thing,
It was
but it's key.
it was massive for me actually though.
Yeah,
So I went to put up another massage bed out, and I asked the guy if he can please help me put it out because it's quite heavy and everything. And normally I would just like not even tell anyone. I'm like, okay, I'll sort it out. I'll go and pick it up, like set it all up. But I've asked for help, and he was like, yeah, he was really pleased that he can help. It wasn't like,
yeah,
oh, you're annoying me or anything like that. But it was like, yeah, 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 of course, yeah, I'll come and help you.
yeah. We're
Yeah,
very simple animals. Like
yeah,
they become the hero. They're the savior. They love it. They really do. If you watch a man,
yeah.
like you can tell when somebody's either like a new date. He kind of like he's just slightly ahead of the woman. He's kind of protecting her. These are really what people call old school values. And as modern women, we're like, no, we don't need anybody.
Yeah.
Trust me.
We
As a
do.
male in a female body for a long time, when a man can really step forward and just the smallest of things, but it can be literally opening the door, getting in and out of the car, ordering on the menu. All the things are like, I can do it all. But when you can just chill out and relax, your body's going to be way happier.
Yeah.
I can't tell you. You're going to have to experience it for yourselves if you choose that path. It's something really lovely about not having to have the range 24/7. I mean, you need to take charge of things because it's so you can do it in your business or whatever it is, or you can totally flip into it. You don't need to live in it. You can live in that. Let me be contributed to, and then you step in and take the lead when you need to, and then you can let me be part of the whole. And then it's a beautiful dance.
Yeah. That sounds really lovely. I am going to try to do that actually, because this is not sustainable the way I'm living right now.
Besides, it's not sustainable. Well, I got to 27 and when my masculine was so strong, I knew it wasn't sustainable. And I said, so I have to change it now. And that's when I started my journey of well, I've been like 22 years, because I knew it wasn't sustainable. It didn't matter what I achieved. It still wasn't, and there wasn't a sense of ease in my body at all.
Yeah.
Well, it's not surprising. I was constantly running on cortisol, stress, push, which is like for a woman, like, I mean, it's damaging for a guy, but for a woman, it's like destroys all of our hormonal balance. It takes us a lot longer to settle, and I had the most horrendous menstrual issues. For my,
I'd be
growing up.
curious actually if when I get to that point, if it actually fixes my PMS, because I also have like terrible PMS, like it's just like Jekyll and Hyde basically before period.
Yeah, and there's some other stuff in that
hormonal
as well, which we can we can talk about probably another time. But well, there's not that sense of feeling lush and basically served like a queen. I mean, it really is. People use this term, my queen. It's like no, really. If you're a queen or a goddess, and it's used a lot in kind of spiritual and personal development. Well, not so much personal development, more spiritual circles. But actually, what does it mean to be a queen? Like really, it's like, well, you've got to be totally knowing yourself and comfortable in your skin to then hold court, to lead people or support the king, because you may be a queendom, as we have in the UK, or to work in co-creation with the king to support a land, to be the heads of a land. You've got to have your shit pretty balanced.
Yep.
At least that's my perception on a day-to-day living. And I'm not literally talking about the royal family, because we know there's all sorts of stuff in royal families. But that energy of somebody who's like regal. What is that? Are they like uncertain or wobbly in themselves? No, that's not my definition of regal.
So like when you say that, like that totally queen, like being served, however we said, like people just giving her things and do things for her and stuff like that.
All the
makes
time.
Me cringe.
All the time. I mean,
Still
literally,
makes me cringe though.
Yeah. What do you think about our queen? How many? We literally people run Buckingham Palace and the other, and Balmoral and Sandringham. She doesn't run. I mean, she might her yards, her homes, but she doesn't go around taking care of all the bits that needs to be done. She has secretary. She has somebody who breaks in her shoes. She has somebody who breaks in her shoes so she can wear them. I mean, that's literally being served, right? So,
oh my god, like seriously?
yeah. Oh, she still does, but she definitely used to. So it's like, come on, that's being willing to receive, to do your thing in the world. So being cringing, yes, being willing to receive. Here we go. So what one thing could you let somebody do for you this week that you would normally do yourself?
Is it the child catcher?
Child catcher's coming closer. It's coming closer. 25-6, it's getting closer.
I'm trying to stall, so I'm like, oh my god, that's making me so uncomfortable.
Yeah. Child catcher. One thing. Come on, I can think of stuff that you're doing this week.
Can maybe do a few posts on Instagram.
No, I'm gonna push it even further. What about something to do with oh my God, because that's like, yeah, it's still within your world, isn't it? No.
But
Somewhere
it's
where you're gonna have to,
still.
where you're gonna have to ask somebody to do something for you.
Well, I would
That's
have to ask
receiving.
my friend to do that.
Okay, cool. What about something to do with your
Yeah.
classes? What about I know you've got a gong
Yeah.
class, gong bath. I don't
Yeah.
know, help it get someone to set up something for you, to carry something for you, to help with your mats, to basically just
Okay, actually, I could do that.
get people
Someone to
to
help me set up because that's quite heavy, the gong and everything, and the stand.
carry shit. Get people to carry shit for you. Carry
Okay.
stuff, set stuff up, put stuff away,
Okay.
whilst you cringe and recoil and yeah. They'll be like,
Oh,
no. For
you're
example,
horrible.
yeah, I'm really horrible. It's one of my best qualities, and I'm very proud of it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna
I
do
mean,
that. Okay, I'm gonna do
it's a
that. That's nice
it's a
and easy.
regular, yeah. So it's a
Yeah.
very specific thing, right? So it's very measurable, which
Yeah.
is my masculine coming in there. But it's very measurable, and it's like it's those things where we go, no one ever helps. You know, I mean, this is what's going on lots of women's heads. No one
Yeah.
ever helps. I might just do it all myself. Give people something to fucking well do. People don't know if you don't fucking ask. We all think they should
Yeah.
all know. That would be in the most amazing world if everybody was a mind reader. And women, yes, we're mind readers. We're brilliant and we're amazing. So with girlfriends, we know what they need before they even ask. I get that. Generally, start to ask the rest of the fucking world. Let
Yeah.
people help. And
Yeah.
you'll start to see, something that's a small risk. And then, like Sabina said about the massage table and put up, well, she does yoga every week. She's teaching, she's instructing. There's opportunities for people to help out every week with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It will make her life a little easier. Or more, give her more space, more time. And then you might get a taste for it.
Ooh. Ooh.
Mm. And then you'll
Actually,
be
I was
like,
good as well. There was another thing I asked for help as well. Um, when we had the red tent, so that you usually do red tent gatherings for women. And again, at the beginning, I'm like, oh, I'll set up everything myself. And I'm like, you know what? Actually, I asked if people can help me put everything away.
yeah,
Because that was again in that, I can do everything by myself. Everything is set, like how I like it and everything. I'm like, I was running around. I had lots of things to do that whole day. Why did I do that to myself?
yeah,
And when I know that all the women that come here are very willing to help out, if I just ask them to come 5 minutes early and help me set up,
absolutely.
it would take 2 seconds. 2 seconds,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's the power of community, right? Power of women.
Yeah.
And men would help as well. I mean, ask
Yeah.
them, they'll do it. It's very rare. Or even if a man says no, sometimes there's a knee-jerk reaction of saying no, just ask him again in a slightly different way. I do it with John, and he's like
Yeah.
very easygoing. But sometimes I say, babe, can I have a stroke? As in, just to be like, he's got a really lovely touch, and he'll be no, and I'll be like, stroke please,
Yeah.
stroke please. I'll just sit down if he's watching like a movie, like I'm in the office movie room here. He'll be sitting down. And I'll just come and sit. I'll just push his legs open, sit on the floor in between his knees, and then stroke please.
That is
And then
really
he'll
sweet as
eventually,
well.
and even if he tries to resist for another like 30 seconds, eventually he'll just touch and start stroking. Persistent as fuck. Because I'm like, I'm going to get what I want.
Yeah.
I don't shout and I'm not like, give me. It's not that. It's kind of cheeky, playful.
Yeah,
But I've
yeah,
asked
yeah.
what I want. And I'm going to get it. That's one thing I know about me. If I want something, I'm really going to get it. So,
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, babe, can you just
I
fold
was just
up?
like, yeah, take his hand and like,
No, I don't. No, I'm going to let him reach for me because then that's him choosing still, right? He's still
yeah.
choosing by reaching. You've got to invite them in and then let them still make a choice. Like I've spent some of this last few weeks, I've been experimenting with kind of leaning back. And what I mean by that is that where I might go to initiate something, and now I'm basically wanting him to move more towards me and contribute directly to me. So I've been leaning back. So there's been some really uncomfortable times where, I wanted a hug So I've not gone up and hugged him. I've let him come and give me a hug when he wants to give me a hug, which means he comes out of the office, comes and finds me. So he's reaching out to me. There's times I've walked out the house without giving him a kiss goodbye. Now, I've never really done that. I've always been, and that's been really tough to do.
How did he react to it?
I think he's been fine. He's not, possibly in his world, he's not just needed that in that moment. It's not, because otherwise he would have come to me, right? Okay. So it's starting to be an invitation for them to come, but for them to come when it works for them, and then to build new patterns, new behaviors, new ways of being. So if I'm starting to now pull back, he's got to adjust. And it might be that the gap is bigger and longer than it's ever been before, for him to then start going, oh, I'm missing something. What is that? What is that? And then him to come and find me.
Yeah.
There's that thing of, there's that thing about, and literally in the male and female bodies, when there's time apart, the male starts to build his testosterone. And then the woman starts to recharge her estrogen if she does certain things, and that's more of an attraction. Or whichever. Yeah. 2 male bodies can do it as well, 2 female bodies can do it. Yeah, so there's understanding the hormonal part of that as well. And it's been really quite challenging at times. I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I've walked out of the house like an old married couple where they don't talk anymore. But I'm like, I'm just like, I'm going to do this experiment. I'm going to do this. And it's not comfortable. Really, it's not. But I'm changing and I desire different things. So I'm going through the fire and doing what's required.
Amazing. So being prepared to be uncomfortable.
Sparking uncomfortable and having things pulling and like I've been willing to be uncomfortable all my life. That's not new, but having things pull in such different directions, that's new. Yeah. I feel like I'm being pulled apart so much. And so it's so like, it's like a volcanic, so up and down inside to that extreme. I'm not used to. It's just like all at once, and it's very strong, and then very chill out, very strong. It's like, oh, so there. Girlfriend, anything last to say for the last couple of minutes before we?
Oh yeah, we have a couple of minutes.
57 minutes. Yeah, we like to finish for the hour. It helps with the YouTube video and that stuff.
No, Instagram. I'm good. Yeah, have more fun, people. Maybe prepared to be uncomfortable.
Well, the thing I'd invite people to is particularly women, and men can have their own version, but I've not spoken so much towards the male side, although it's in there. Women, as a boy girl, I can really say I'm more than pleasantly surprised at the power of starting to let somebody take the reins, and also be willing to ask somebody to do something, be willing to ask for the help, and for them to be a bit messy with it because they're learning. And if you've got kids, you always put their clothes away, you can start folding up their stuff and you just leave it at the end of their bed. And it might be there for a few days, but eventually they'll pick it up, do something with it, or you don't go buy whatever it is they want, what they can buy on the way home from school instead of you to buy it, or they can learn to clean their own football boots instead of you cleaning them because they realise they can't play in them because they're getting too muddy. It might be messy for a while, but they will learn. If you keep doing it, they're never going to learn. Therefore, it's all on you all the time. So the smallest thing, just start with the tiny things and let them have the tantrums. If it's kids, they probably will. Even if it's adults, they possibly can. But you can just ask for, say, hey, babes, can you just do that? And then if you can just say, hey, babes, can you do that? And you only ask when you have that softness. And then if you need to, because you feel that you're going to get into
oh, yeah, we didn't cover that nagging. Maybe we should cover the nagging as well next time.
Yeah, if you're going to feel like you're going to suddenly get into that, you can just walk out the room, literally. You can ask when it's soft and you can walk out the room if you feel you're going to go into a fight with the person. Or I've had today, I was doing something, I could feel me getting really, I didn't say anything, I just put my tongue and just carried on doing what I was doing. And then when it chilled enough, I then actually made the request.
Yeah.
But it took about, it was in a period of 3 hours. I had to wait for stuff to chill out before I was soft enough to then say, hey, can you help? So there may be time lags. We're going to kind of call it a day.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening.
For the watching.
And we'll see you. 2 weeks time.
Probably 2 weeks. All right, guys. Catch you
Bye.
later. Big love. Bye.
Bye.